I want you to meet Katie Workman. She's here for Books by the Banks, which is a great event that we have here in Cincinnati, down at the Banks in the Duke Energy Convention Center every year. And Katie is going to whip up some of her cookies. She's got a great cookbook called Dinner Solved. Katie, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
So tell me how you came up with a book called Dinner Solved.
Because most of us need dinner solved. It's sort of that pressure point. Every day there's that moment where we all think to ourselves, oh my gosh, it's 5, it's 6, whatever it is, like what am I going to do? And this is ammunition to answer that question all week long during the weekends. And every recipe has a fork in the road, which means that you can make it for different people with different tastes. So if you have a kid who's a picky eater, for instance, or maybe you have someone in your family who loves spice and others don't, or maybe you have a vegetarian in the family, the recipes all can be made up to a certain point and then separated to go in more than one direction, so you end up with different versions of the same thing.
That is fantastic. Do you have kids or a picky eater or something in your family?
I have 2 kids, 2 boys. Both of them are fairly good eaters, but there's always things that one kid doesn't like and one kid loves, or that I love and that my kids aren't so into. So it's just nice to have the options as you're going.
Very good. Okay, tell me about the cookies that we're going to whip up here today.
Sure. So as you can see, it's not just dinner. It is breakfast, lunch, snacks, etc. And these are the oatmeal, chocolate chip, and crystallized ginger cookies. So you're going to make them, and at some point, if you decide, you know what, I'm not a crystallized ginger fan, then leave that out.
Now, what does the crystallized ginger do in the recipe?
It's so great. So crystallized ginger is just fresh ginger that's been boiled and then coated in sugar, and it's a little bit sweet and a little bit spicy, and it's just, when you take a real bite of the cookie, it's just this burst of flavor, just nice gingery flavor. I know you can't take as big a bite because you're interviewing, but
it is delicious, though. I will say that. Okay, let's start whipping it up. You got some butter in the bowl
I do. We'll start with just the dry ingredients. So we've got our flour.
I got the burst of ginger on that
Did
bite.
You get that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. A little cinnamon, a little ground ginger, and salt, because everything needs a little salt, even baked goods. People don't always realize that. That will just get stirred up, and then we would blend up our butter. Let's see how loud this is, how annoyingly loud.
Oh, that's not bad. Now, you were about to say when I interrupted you, you're putting brown sugar in. If you don't want the burst of ginger, what would you do? What would the fork of the road be for that one?
At the point where you would get to, you're going to add in your 2 sugars, crack in your eggs and your vanilla, and at that point you have oatmeal cookies. You could bake a few of those up, just plain oatmeal cookies. Mm-hmm. You could throw in some raisins if you wanted, or you could just add the chocolate chips and have the chocolate chip oatmeal cookies.
That's great.
But you could do some of those, maybe do 1 sheet of those, and then you throw in the crystallized ginger, and then you have those. So if you have a kid and you think, oh, they're not going to be so into the crystallized ginger, make a batch with just chocolate chips and let them try the crystallized ginger one. Maybe they'll be surprised, and you've got some.
And you don't have to throw them out if he doesn't like them, because you have the other ones.
Never throw out a cookie. That would be a terrible
that would be an awful sin. Yeah, exactly. Put the brown sugar in.
The brown sugar is, as you can see, quite nicely packed. So we'll just carve it out a little bit. Let's just imagine that it wasn't quite so packed in.
And then you've got eggs and vanilla. I mean, this is a basic cookie recipe. And
it's a basic cookie recipe. There's nothing mysterious about this. And if you put 2 sticks of butter on the counter in the morning before you go to work, when you get home, and just leave out your flour, at home, no one is measuring half a teaspoon of ginger for you, but you can do that. And if you have 2 teaspoons of butter that are already softened, then you're in great shape, and you can get these in the oven in 10 minutes.
So today you're going to do a cookbook panel at Books by the Banks at 10 o'clock, and then you're going to be signing books from 11 to 4, right?
Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. I got the day wrong. Don't go today to see Katie.
Don't go.
She'll be there tomorrow. 10 for the cookbook panel, 11 to 4. Books by the Banks is this weekend, and we have a link at local12.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is delicious, and have a great weekend in Cincinnati. We'll be right back.